guys, today I'm going to do a March wrap-up, and I'm going to just say this, I only read 4 books in March, and it is because some of the books were they were long. They were long books. So the very first book I read in March was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, and this is a contemporary novel, and it's just about a girl and a guy who legit hate each other, and they work in an office and them going for the same position. And they worked alongside each other for many, many years and haven't got along. This is a steamy novel, so if you're into that kind of thing, I would recommend this book. It was okay. I wouldn't buy the book, but it was okay that I checked it out and read it. It was a light, easy read. It was fun. I gave it probably, I think, a 3 on Goodreads. It was good enough to read and good enough to check out, but I wouldn't buy it. It was definitely steamy, so if you're not into that, I guess stay away from it. It was super saucy, so yeah, there was that. And and the second book I read was Caraval by Stephanie Garber. And this book I did do a link, I'll link down below. I did do a review of it because it came out in the end of February and I read it at the beginning of March. But just for the premises of this book, it is somewhat like Night Circus, as some of you heard. The book is beautiful, the cover is beautiful, it's written really well, the world, you can see it really clearly. It's about 2 sisters who have wanted their whole entire lives to go to Caraval, and surprise, surprise, they get some tickets in the mail after writing a person for 7 years, the head guy of Carnival. And when you get there, you don't really know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. There's a little bit of a romance with a man named Julian. You don't know whether he's good or bad through the whole book. It does leave on a cliffhanger. I probably would not buy this book, but I really liked it. Like, I liked it a lot more than The Hating Game. I would definitely suggest it to people who liked the Night Circus and want to read something in that genre. The book is also beautiful. If you just like really pretty books, then I would definitely say buy it. But yeah, that was a really good one, and I'll link the whole review down below. And then last but not least, I read Outlander. And this was a YouTube made me do it. Everybody on YouTube kept talking about Outlander, and I don't have a Star subscription, so I don't watch the show, but I decided I'd finally just take the plunge and read it, even though they are long, long books. So when you get into them, just know it's like for me, it's like diving into like Lord of the Rings or something, because they are in-depth books, they're tiny writing, and there's a lot of storyline and there's a lot of history that goes in behind them. And a lot of it's kind of foreign language a little bit because it's Scottish, so there's a little bit of that you kind of have to get over. But it's really, really well done. I can't believe more people hadn't recommended it to me before. Like, in my outside life, nobody's ever really recommended it to me until I watched YouTube. But yeah, that's, I guess, what YouTube is here for. But it was really, really good. And here's the thing. I started watching the show when I was about halfway through the book. I started watching it, and I wanted to read the book before I finished the show. But I got in a position where I ended up finishing the show first, and it was devastating. The end of Outlander was so sad, the first book. I didn't really want to finish the book, honestly. I was a little scared to read that part. If any of you have read it, then you know what happens. But I went ahead and did it just because I wanted to read. I knew there was 9 other stories in the book, and I wanted to read what actually happened to these characters. Anyway, the storyline for it, if you have not read it, apparently I'm like the only one under the sun that hadn't, but it is about a woman who is living in the 1940s, and she is a nurse, and she goes back in time through some stones. She is married in the 1940s to a guy she's passionately in love with, and she goes back through the stones and she meets his great-great-grandfather, and then a new love interest kind of incurs after she's forced to get married. And that's not really giving away anything because that happens quite quickly along in the story. And most people, I think, know that the main love interest is Claire and Jamie Fraser. But yeah, that's how the whole story starts out. So a little bit of time travel and mysticism, but she is a very practical woman. She's a very smart woman. She realizes rather quickly she's in the wrong era after she passes through the stones. And the world that Jamie Fraser is from is very chaotic and mean and rough and just a completely and utterly different world than her own. So it's a lot to take in. The story at the end is really rough on Outlander. I don't know. I can't bear that part. But yeah, the second book in the series, which I also did read this month, is Voyager. Or no, the second book in the series, I actually have this book. It's the one I haven't returned to the library, is A Dragonfly in Amber. This one is much better. I like this book, even though it has a sad ending. Once again, I have a feeling this author is prone to sad endings so far, but I really, really like this. A lot happens in this book with the Jacobite Rising and everything. I like this one a lot more, actually, even than Outlander, which is kind of, I think, a surprise, because I think most people's heart are set on Outlander. But this one is the same story in continuation, and it's about Jamie and Claire, and they end up going to Paris and the Jacobite Rising, and it is really, really well done, and I would recommend to read it. I would 100% buy these books. These books are up there. They're like a 4.5 towards a 5. These are up there with some of the favorite books I've probably ever read, apart from the first ending of Outlander. That was the only part. It was really, really sad, and I read books for happiness, I guess you'd say. So this character already had Jamie had already had a lot that happened in his life, and I felt it was like a thorn and a nail in the coffin kind of thing. It was really, really sad, and I'm kind of sad the author had put that in. But yeah, so it was a really short month. Hopefully next month I read a lot more than just 4 books, but with the Outlander series continuing, we'll see what happens, because these are long books. Like I said, this one is this one is 700 pages, and the typing is not that large. So when you get into these books, just know they will take some time. But that's everything I read in March. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll have Pinterest, Instagram, and Goodreads all linked down below. Thanks for watching. Bye!